Hey, what's up? It's Tiffany. Before we get started on this week's episode, please be sure to send us your requests at booshakalakapodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter X, BooShakalakapod. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Instagram at BooShakalakapodcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Booshakalaka podcast. I'm your host, Bedelia, and I'm joined with my co-hosts
Uh, I'm not
here.
doing I'm not doing a monologue. This episode, I wanted to take the time to actually say something very sad. Rest in peace to Chance Perdomo, from Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and Gen V. Yeah, he passed away yesterday, on a motorcycle accident, and I don't know how to feel. So RIP.
R.I.P. Moment of
And
silence.
moment of silence.
Okay, we're back.
All right. And happy Easter to Jesus. Or is it the Easter Bunny?
What, to Jesus or the Easter Bunny? I don't know. Let's just say it's to both.
Yeah, okay.
Happy Easter
Um
to all, and to all a good night.
yes. Well,
Well, this is supposed to be April anthology, so you're talking about Happy Easter. I'll cut that part. Yeah,
what?
so welcome welcome back to Anthology April. We're here with our first episode, and we're going to be reviewing Creepshow 1 and Creepshow 2, but this is actually going to be a Creepshow favorites because there's some shitty segments on the Creepshow films. Some of them I just can't. So for this one, we're gonna be for Creepshow 1, we're gonna do Father's Day and They're Creeping Up on You, and for Creepshow 2, we're doing all of those: Old Chief Woodn'head, The Raft, and The Hitchhiker. And I have such a funny story to tell later in the podcast. So we also want to thank Jay for being on the show last week. We had a good time. It was a great episode. He'll be back sometime soon.
It was a great
Yeah,
episode.
it was great.
All right. So, Creepshow, very interesting set of movies. Creepshow 1, I'm glad I never saw until like recently. But Creepshow 2, it's still something about it that still is scary to me. I don't know. It's like unsettling. Um, but yeah, we'll start with Father's Day with Creepshow 1. And let me just say, I feel like with the Creepshow 1, there was a bit, no, I don't know, it was very ambiguous. I feel like Creepshow 2, you wanted all the people who died to die. With Creepshow 1, I was like, I can understand these characters. I don't understand why they're dying. But we start Father's Day with the legend of Aunt Bedelia. Um, and she's driving like Cruella DeVille on her way
She
home
is.
on Father's
well,
Day.
well, we don't want to skip the beginning. So we meet this elite family, the super pretentious Sylvia, and she is telling Hank, and I guess in Cass and Richard, and I think Hank is Cass's wife, and I mean Hank is Cass's husband, and Cass and Richard are family members of Bedelia and Sylvia. And then he's telling the story of the great Aunt Bedelia, and it goes into like this. We're actually able to see Aunt Bedelia coming up to the home for Father's Day. So, like you said, she was driving like Cruella de Vil, like a damn menace. Like she was just swerving. It was a lot. It was a lot. So, the story we're talking about, and there's it's basically an open secret that Bedelia murdered their late father, and on Father's Day, for that matter. He was really abusive, domineering, and he actually wasn't even a good person. Like the way that he made the family's fortune was through extortion, murder for hire. He just wasn't a good person, all in all.
He even had her paramour killed, allegedly. That's they believe that he had the guy that she was in love with killed during a hunting accident. So yeah, he was no
Hmm.
very bad person.
Yeah, he had a stroke, and Bedelia became his nurse full time, and yeah, like you said, the hunting accident, and so then we see We're still in the flashback at this point. So this went by so fast. Like this,
Mhm,
it went by. It was just
mhm.
exposition, bam.
Yeah.
So we see Bedelia and they're making a very nice Father's Day cake, and we hear Nathan, who is the father, in the dining room. He's got his fork and his knife, and he's banging on the table. He's like, I want my cake. And
Bedelia, you bitch! Bedelia, give me my cake. It's Father's Day. Just
like he sounds like he's a ghost already.
like
I mean, and Bedelia was like, you know what, bitch? I mean, he says it like 15 times. And while she's making the cake, and then she's had enough. She has enough, and she bludgeons him to death with a ashtray. And as like while he's still demanding his cake. So now we're back in present day, back in Bedelia driving the car erratically. That was just Sylvia telling the family the story. And Bedelia pulls up to this date. Everybody's waiting on her so they can get started with the festivities. And she wants to make a beeline to the cemetery where the father is buried.
Mhm.
So when she got out the car, you heard, I want my cake. Could she hear that? Or was that just for us?
I think that was just for us.
Okay. So she she goes over to the father's grave and she is cussing his ass out still. Like she has no remorse for killing him because he was a jerk. And
Mhm.
she ends up spilling her bottle of whiskey on the grass above where her father's grave is. And then all of a sudden a decaying, decrepit, maggot-filled hand pops out of the grave. So is that how you bring dead people back to life? Is just give them some whiskey?
This again, this creep show made no sense. I don't like. I feel like they just wanted to get right into it. Like it ended like that. Like I was like,
It was
wait,
so
that's it.
fast.
It was hard to take notes because I was like, wait, what happened? And so
It really was.
what pissed me off more was that as he's coming out of the grave, she's just like, ah, ah, ah. Like she don't try to run, she don't try to get up, she just accepts her fate, and he just
And
gets
she
out.
has ample time.
Literally, he has to crawl, he gets his whole body out, and then he just strangles her. And I'm just like, ma'am, he been getting out this grave for 5 minutes. What are you doing? Like,
Right.
uh,
So we're back at the house and oh, I forgot to mention that Sylvia said that Nathan's death was an accident, and so she was able to distribute Nathan's fortune amongst the family,
mhm.
which you wouldn't think she would do. She probably I would think she would keep it to herself. All like rich people are always stingy and
Yeah.
Leprechaun, we just finished that. Um So back at the house, Hank and Cass are dancing, and then Mary Fisher comes in and she tells them to get the hell out of her house.
I hate you so much. What the fuck? That was so random.
No, you saw they were dancing, and then Sylvia walked in
Yeah.
and she's like, "Get out of here!" And I was like, "Mary Fisher, get the hell out of my house!"
Oh my god. She was so
So,
rightfully pissed in that moment.
Hank is like, "Okay, I will." He goes outside to take a smoke, and he starts hearing noises, and he thinks it's Bedelia playing a joke on him. Like, what grown ass 80-year-old woman is gonna play a joke on you
Who
by
doesn't even
chilling
know
in a
you yet?
cemetery?
Like, she don't even know you yet. Like, this is your first time here, sir. And he roll over, and basically, what I believe is he was ready to eat because they're waiting on her, and so they don't want to glaze the ham until she gets back. And so he
Yeah.
like, hey, you out here? And so he roll up over there. How he falls in the grave, I don't know, because he falls into a grave
No,
pit.
I thought he tripped over. No, he tripped over Bedelia's body,
No,
and
because
he
her
turns.
body was. He doesn't see her body until because she rolls over when he's in the grave. That's when he sees her.
He's not in a grave.
Well, a pit, a ditch, whatever.
I mean, but it's not deep. You when you say a grave, it makes it seem like it's
Oh,
deep.
he's what do you want to call it? What do you call that? I don't know. A thick patch of dirt. I don't know. He was in dirt, but I don't know what you would call that.
He's in. He's in Nathan's grave. So it's the dirt on top of Nathan's grave. So
Okay,
it's disturbed ground.
there we go.
We'll go with that. And he sees this Bedelia. He has ample time to get up too. I don't know what the fuck the problem is. He just lays there and lets Nathan use his carry telekinesis. Or the girl from Friday the 13th Sevens telekinesis. I don't remember her name.
What the?
Uh oh my god, you haven't seen that one?
No.
So they wanted to market it as Jason versus Carrie.
Are you serious?
So the girl has telekinesis in it. She fights Jason by like she's like doing her magic eyes and things just start flying at him. It's stupid, but anyway, and he knocks his headstone onto Hank. Hank is dead. Hank is out of here.
That was so pathetic. Like, I was like, sir.
And it made a noise like,
yes. He walks in the house like, I want my cake. Like, that's all he's saying. He just wants his cake. And so Sylvia is like, where's your fucking husband? And she's like, and it's weird that the little niece is like, I want my husband and I want him now and I want to eat. And I'm like, then go get him. Like, why are other people going to get your man? That was
right.
weird.
Did she want to eat her husband?
That
might be what it was.
Sylvia is like the only one with like who's like, okay, I'm gonna go look for him. I'm like, this is odd. And so she goes to the kitchen to find the maid, and she can't find the maid. And then when she opens the door, that's when you see the maid's head like pop pop against the glass, and she's like,
no more lemon pledge.
But she doesn't like scream and go get her like relatives. She like, just goes into.
She wasn't even behind a closed door. It was one of those revolving doors that are like usually in restaurants when they go into the kitchen.
Right. So do you have those in mansions? Because I was like, this is odd.
I mean, rich people don't go in the kitchen. They get people to bring it to them, I guess.
That's why I was like, what's with this door? But
yeah, I don't know. But so she sees the maid. The maid is dead. She lets her get on the ground, and she actually does. She has time when she sees the maid to leave, but when she decides to go, she turns and he is right there. He grabs her and crack crack crack. He takes her to the chiropractor. And he kills Sylvia so fast. Like that's what I'm saying. I think this was only. I looked at the timestamp when this episode was over. It was 21 minutes. So we had the intro song and the wraparound story with the kid.
Yeah, with his abusive dad. And so that's why
it reminded me of Macaulay Culkin in the black and white video. Hey, Dad, turn it down. I just want to hear my music.
Macaulay Culkin will appreciate that. And so
this is the best part.
But it was like, that's what threw me off, because I was like, how is this movie 2 hours long and these stories are like 5 minutes long? That was weird. So yeah, he cracks her neck, much like the guy in Thanksgiving. That just reminded me of that. When she was on the trampoline. And so
I mean, she was supposed to have jumped on the scissors into a cat, but
Hey, Eli Roth, he will pay for his crimes. And so the niece and nephew get like all hot and bothered, and she's like, go find them. And he's like, fine, I'll find them. And I was like, this is so odd. Like, I've never seen this before. It was weird. But yeah, and so they go looking, and then they go in the kitchen, the lights are off. They roll up, there go their dead uncle, and he got Sylvia's head on the platter with some icing on her head, with some candles, talking about, I finally got my cake. And it made no sense, because like, out of all the people, like, shouldn't it have been Bedelia's head on the like, what did your other daughter do? I didn't understand.
She took his money.
Yeah, motherfucker, that's called inheritance. Like, that's why I was like,
well, no, she said that the death was an accident. That's how they got the inheritance. I think if it would have been murdered by Bedelia, they wouldn't have got the money. Okay. But they still should have. Yeah, because everybody but Bedelia should have got the money.
Yeah, because literally the only time you don't get it is when it's a suicide. That's the only time they don't give you like the money.
Right. Maybe it was different in 1980, whatever this came out.
Girl.
So that literally was the end of Father's Day. I added it to the faves, not knowing. I think when I was a kid, I just kept remembering I want my cake, and I was like, oh yeah, I really like this one. And then I watched it again, and I was like, I
remember Bedelia, you bitch.
You don't meet many Bedelias nowadays.
Because I used to say that in school. Oh my God, I used to get in trouble for quoting movies so much. I
believe it. I believe it.
So yeah. Terrible.
So now we're on to They're Creeping Up on You. And this one gave me the itch.
Fuck you for this. Because you should have chosen the one with Stephen King. Because I was like, why did you choose? Yeah, because I was
I should have chosen the one with Ted Danson. That's the one I should have chose in the TV. And Leslie Nielsen.
And then I was eating like
Oh,
I was eating Cookie Crisp. Like it just was.
so,
It was.
and it had little specks in it. Cookie crisp.
And so,
So we meet Upson Pratt, and he is a piece of shit business mogul who suffers from he has germophobia.
mhm,
He lives in an all-white penthouse that is sealed up really tightly, and the first scene we see of him is he kills a roach with a spray bottle, and then he goes to clean his hands, and he's scrubbing so hard like a surgeon, and he's just talking to himself. Fucking
mhm,
bugs are gonna ruin the world, oh motherfuckers! And
mhm,
he gets a phone call from George, one of his coworkers, and they're talking about the fact that his company recently instigated a corporate takeover,
mhm.
and like while he's talking to George, he spots another roach in another corner, along with the dead roach that he killed earlier. And like at this point, if you see two roaches, like it's time to get out, put a bomb, hit the bomb, the bug bomb, and then wait, and then come back because that's one is too much.
I hate roaches. This is very hard to watch. I believe that roaches are very fucking sneaky. I think they have like something. I just don't trust them. It, the fact that they pop up and there be different sizes, like how is a baby here, an adult here? It just I don't trust them.
I
Um,
had them. I used to live in an apartment, and I had like a roach. It was in Mississippi. There's a lot of woods, so
mhm.
sometimes what are those called? Not roaches. What's the other one called?
Oh, water bugs.
Yeah. So I thought it was a water bug. And I thought nothing of it because they do get in the house and you just kill them and
Hmm.
get them out of there. So
Yeah.
I saw it like in the kitchen and I was like, oh no, this is a roach. And then I saw another one. And then one night I was sleeping and one fell from the ceiling and I screamed. I screamed. I had to I just stripped everything out. I slept in the living room that day. And then I was like, where are they coming from? Because I kept my place clean. I took my trash out, nothing
Mhm,
like that.
mhm, mhm,
I went out to my balcony and somebody had moved out in
mhm,
the one above us and they left. I didn't go to the balcony. I'm sorry. I looked from the street. They left like a bag of trash in
mhm.
the balcony. I called the front desk and I cussed them the fuck out. How you gonna let somebody leave and not pick up all the trash? So they came in, they bombed my apartment, and then they came in and they fumigated. And then 2 days later, I said, "Do it again." I think we did it like 3 or 4 times, and I never saw one again. But that was just pissing me off because they lay eggs. They could always keep
Mhm.
popping up.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so mad. Anyway, I don't have as many roaches as Upson though. In the end, Upton. So Upson, I'm sorry, it is Upson. So we'll get to it. So he can't concentrate because he wants to kill the bug, and then he wants to get off the phone, and he I got a couple of his quotes. He tells George, George, you know what? Go out and fuck somebody, but wear damn rubber. Everybody's got the damn herpes these days.
Jesus.
Why is that still a thing though?
Uh,
Like
Facts.
these STDs, like the ones that are curable,
Mhm,
nobody should have them anymore.
mhm.
Why are you still getting that boy's got syphilis? Why are you still getting syphilis?
Well, I mean, do you want to release like a statistic answer? Because really, it's because main and it's because a lot of straight men don't get tested. Like a lot of straight men don't get tested. They don't. I don't know if they don't believe in it or they just feel like, no, the word. I think with straight people, they think the worst that can happen is pregnancy, and so I don't know. And so, like, I know with us, we have,
But 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 what about men?
I
What's the
don't
worst that could happen to
know.
them?
I
I
don't
think
know.
shit has to be falling off, or they have to get bumps for them
Yeah,
to
I think they have
actually
to
go in and
see
do
it because
it.
a lot of them are invisible, like you just said, syphilis. And if your pee's not burning, and if you don't see it, they're just like,
Hmm.
I'm invincible. Ain't nothing wrong with me.
Well, I mean,
But
well, I found out like some men don't wipe between the crack of their ass after they shit. Found that out
yeah, because
last
that
year.
makes
Like
them gay. So they
they
don't
just
wash.
go into the shower and spread the cheeks and let the
Yeah,
water fall on it.
yeah,
Gooey chips all in the bottom of the damn tub.
yeah. They can't wash their asses either. It makes them gay. Cannot be gay, but you can have a shitty ass.
I could never, ever.
I pray for women
Okay,
every
anyway,
day. I pray for women every day.
so George tells George tells Upson that his business rival Norman, I got his last name, Kastenmeyer, has committed
Of course he did.
suicide,
Hmm.
and Upson's like,
Again, a terrible person.
yeah, he is laughing about it, laughing like it's ridiculous. So he gets off the phone with him. Um, Then he gets another phone call from
Mm.
Lenore. Lenore. Why does that sound like a ghost name? What movie was that in where Lenore was a ghost?
Ooh, there was a couple of them with Lenore.
Mm.
Damn it, now I can't remember any of them. But I recall that name. Yes, yes, yes.
So
Um,
he's so he's cooking. He's not even cooking. He's blending something up in a mixer blender.
some nuts and
I thought it was
cranberries.
grape nuts. That's what it looked like.
Hmm.
Um, so Lenore is like, "You bastard! My husband killed himself because of you. I hope you rot in hell. I hope you
I
burn."
hope you get
And then
cancer in the worst part of your body. I was like, oh my god.
and she told him that Norman's last word was
Hmm.
Upson's name, and then he went and shot himself and killed himself.
Hmm.
Um, so we turned back to the smoothie, and it's all chunky and brown, and I was immediately like, "There's got to be roaches in that fucking smoothie."
Hmm.
So then he's calling for maintenance, and he gets Carl on the phone, who is the maintenance guy, and Carl is like, "Hey, I'm calling you from Orlando." He's like, "What? You're in Orlando?" He's like, "Yeah, me and the wife decided to take the kids to Disney World." And I have this one too. He said, "I don't give a fuck if you decide to take the kids to Attica this year. There's still roaches in here. Do you like your job, Reynolds?" Because I'm glad to hear it. Because I want to see White and the exterminators here in the next 30 minutes, or you will have no job by midnight tonight. And then next year, you can take your wife and the kids to Disney on your fucking welfare check.
A read.
He was gay. He had to have been gay. And then he starts eating the smoothie.
Yeah, and that's mm.
And we keep seeing roaches. We keep seeing
And
we
then
keep seeing singular roaches.
he looks through the fucking smooth and he sees like the roach court. Oh, I hate this. Oh god, it's just,
They're everywhere. They are
oh my god.
everywhere. And then the handyman comes up. He's like, "Hey, Mr. Pratt." Why was he talking like that?
Because he's black. You wanted the answer.
Thank you.
That's why he had to call him colored.
Oh yeah, he
Like,
did call him
you
colored.
know, like, oh god.
This is a great job for you colored folk. You can go far in this. And he was the handyman. So I mean, being a handyman is a great job, to be honest, for
It
anybody.
is. It's just it was 1980s. I'm just gonna let it go.
Yeah, so I feel like let me go ahead and finish this one because you're gonna give the heebie-jeebies. So I'll go through this one. So he looks down into his smoothie. He sees little roach tentacles, little legs, little antlers, and
Okay.
he goes into the kitchen and he picks up his box
Oh my
and
god.
he tilts the box to the side and there's roaches all in the
Oh, and
box.
he kept letting them out, and I was like, why would you do that? Like, if one pops out, just close it, and because you have them contained. But he just lets them go flying all over.
Yeah, but then it gets and then
Oh.
they actually have a rolling blackout and I guess they're in New York City that happens often. They have the rolling blackout, and then when the lights finally come back on, I'm just gonna call them bugs. The bugs are everywhere. They're on the walls. They're in the kitchen. They're on the floor. They're in the stove. They are
They're
like
crawling
they have.
on him, like.
Yes, they were on his person, and he's still trying to spray them, and then he squishes one roach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you better tap dance on the motherfuckers. What are you doing? And
Or
this
leave the apartment.
That's
What?
what I'm saying. Again, maybe he had agoraphobia and he was too scared to leave because he was doing like stock work at home.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know. He tries to call the police, and again he does help. The attack is on. You don't call the police and say, "Hey, police, I have bugs."
Mm-hmm.
I am. You call them and say, "I am a white woman in
Mm-hmm.
America, and there is a
Mm-hmm.
black man
Mm-hmm.
trying to break into my apartment or
Mm-hmm.
trying to kill me."
Mm-hmm.
So he fucked up. He could have got help.
Mm-hmm.
Or like you said, he could have left, but he didn't do that. So he the maintenance man or the handyman is stuck in the elevator, so he can't come back up because of the power, because of the rolling blackout.
Yeah. He tells him,
So
"You're not stuck in the elevator." What the? I'm like, sir, what the?
so
It's just.
Pratt is a mess. So Pratt looks over to his bedroom, which has like a sealed door, airproof door, and he goes in there and closes it. I'm like, why the fuck didn't he go in there like all along? Like
Mm-hmm.
what? So and he looks over to his bed, and his bed is
Moving.
it's moving under his covers, and he pulls back the sheet, and it's
My worst nightmare.
8,500 arachas in his bed.
Mm.
And they just take over. They take over. They
Mm.
crawl over him. He's dead.
Mm.
And then we see the next day the maintenance man is knocking at the door trying to come in. A handyman is knocking at the door trying to come in, and then the camera pans to Mr. Pratt laying in the bed, and then the roaches start to come out of his mouth and they burst out of his chest and all that stuff. So I'm thinking that Lenore put a cast a spell on him.
Yeah, because you hear her voice and I hope you die. I hope you die. Yeah, she had to have gone to New Orleans and you know, paid somebody to do a little something.
The gree worked.
Jesus.
I can imagine dying like that.
Like
that other death where the rats eat you to death. You seen that one?
No.
So it was like an ancient, like back in the day, in the barbaric times, pretty much. They would put a rat on your stomach, and then they would put a bowl over the rat, and then they would heat the bowl up, and the rat would start to burrow.
That takes way too long.
Right.
So the fact that.
Well, anyway, that is the end of our 2 faves from Creepshow 1. Apparently, they're not Pierre's faves. I like they're creeping up on you, and he, Bedelia, you bitch.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna rate that one, I mean, we've both seen the whole movie as a whole. So as a whole, I would give Creepshow like a 5 out of 10. Like it's okay. You're gonna get some good laughs from it, but it's not particularly scary.
It was more sad. Like I felt sad for the meteor one. Like that was like because he was not a terrible character. Like you know what I mean?
Oh
like,
yeah.
Like some of the other ones. Like he wasn't a bad guy.
A guy finds a meteor, he touches it, and it turns into a meteor himself.
Or Jesse turned into the Grinch. It was just like he didn't do anything wrong. He was just a dumb old oaf.
In the other one, somebody gets buried in sand and with a high tide. So of course they die, and they have a TV plugged up in front of the man getting buried, or the man in the sand, and the tide's coming. I'm like, how's this TV still working? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, what do you give it?
I give it a 4.
4 out of 10.
Yeah, 4.
We don't need any more. We're gonna go to.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the showstopper.
And this is I'm gonna take it away.
I love this movie. I saw this movie when I was a kid. It scared the hell out of me, and it still creeped me out rewatching it. I don't know. It just had I think what helps Creepshow is that this overarching story. It tried to be interesting, but it went by so quickly. I don't understand how this movie was an hour because I was like, how is this an hour?
And there's only 3 segments in here, whereas Creepshow 1 had 3.
Little Billy didn't have too much
5,
going on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, 5. And Little Billy didn't have too much going on. But I think it was seeing the creeper and he, I don't know, they had a good actor. Like, kids, and I don't know, he was just really good. Let's see. I can't even remember what he said. I'm gonna give you a bonbon. No, and something. And so we start off. And Creepshow, basically, for people who don't know, it's supposed to be like a comic book in their unit. Like it's a comic book, and then they're making, I guess, live action comic book adaptations. And so the first one, kiddies, is an old tale.
That I like to call Old Chief Woodn'head.
And so we start off in this, I don't even know what the fuck they are, saloon town.
I think it's an Indian reservation.
Okay. Why are white people there? And
somewhere in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma? So the drama club is doing Oklahoma? Where the fuck would you audition for Oklahoma?
Most of the American Indians or the natives live in the Midwest.
Yeah, or yeah. Well, you said American because I was about to say yeah, because most of them are in Canada, honestly. And so yeah, where the fuck would you audition for Oklahoma? And so Ray and Martha are 2 white people on an Indian reservation for some reason, and
but they're very nice.
They are very nice. And so basically Ray owns a general store, we'll call it that, and he's touching up. He has like this statue of a chief. It's like this wooden statue, old Chief Woodn'head. He's touching up his war paint. very slowly, and he talks to him and stuff, old men. And so so, you know, basically ain't nobody been to their shop in like 4 fucking days. They're poor, they run out of money. Now apparently back in the day their shop was like big business running. It was so good that they were able to, put their kids through college, leave money for their grandkids, and they were even able to like loan money to the townspeople and give back. Martha is pissed about this, typical white woman in America, and she was just like, she's basically going off on her husband, like, you gave so much to these people, they don't give nothing back. This town is like basically deserted at this point. I think what I don't know, the mill shut down, something typical that happens with a small town, and people moved away, and so there's just not there's nothing going
there's
on.
just big competition.
Yeah. And so maybe Walmart. And so and so she's just saying, like, stop giving these people your money. It's time to retire, when we need to go and like keep the money we have and chill out, chill with our grandkids or whatever. And they, she wants to move. And so they're just having a little talk, basic old people stuff. And he's just like, I believe in this town. The country's gonna come back. I'm like, what the fuck was happening back in the 1992 that they were like the country was like dead, dying? Like, what was happening?
What was that war? Desert Storm?
Was it? Fuck you. Are you serious? Oh, okay. And so yeah, but
why are you mad at me?
I don't know, because you started it. And so in the meantime, they get a visitor. They get a visitor from Benjamin White White Moon. And so and she's talking about there's Benjamin White Moon. She's talking about in his chauffeur limo. I'm like, this is a paddy wagon. I'm not about to play with these movies talking about, oh, they so rich and they in limos and they literally in a 4-door. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. And so he rolled up.
Well, technically limos only have 4 doors, right?
Fuck you. You know what I mean? They're supposed to look like wiener. Limos are supposed to look like wiener dogs. And so he was in a Volkswagen. And so they roll up, they roll on over, and he got fucking security and shit. Bitch, get the fuck out of my face. He got these 2 indigenous security guards that stay and watch while he goes in the store with Martha and Ray. And basically what he does is he's like, listen, I know my people owe you some money. We ain't paid it back yet. So what I did was I went to each tribe and I got their most valuable jewels. And he gives them like this, I don't know, it's like a leather little binder. And he's like, these are all of our tribe's jewels. So we have 2 autumns to pay you back. I don't know why they don't just say 2 years. And we have 2 autumns to pay you back. And if you don't, if we don't pay you back,
why would it be 2 years? Wouldn't it just be 1?
2 autumns?
If I start in autumn here, there's autumn.
He said
it's not autumns. 2 years.
Is it not autumn right now? It's the summertime, so I don't know. So I'm gonna say that they're giving themselves 2 years because I don't know how much money they owe him. And so he's like, if we don't pay you back,
I looked up like real authentic turquoise jewelry. It's like $1,000 a carat. Like they
damn.
Yeah, they can get up there. The real stuff, not like
Damn.
Ooh. So yeah, he gave them a lot of stuff because there's a lot of turquoise jewelry.
Yeah, and he said, so if we don't pay you back, you can keep it. And then he's like, I can't take this. He's like, look, it's a damn it. I hate that I forgot to go. It's one thing to borrow. It's another thing to beg. And if you return it, you make us beggars, and that's like they bring shame on us. And there's no worse thing than that. And I was like, okay, that's cute. And so then the wife is like, she's like, okay. She's like, I was just talking to him about how, he needs to stop having faith on these people, but thank you for restoring it. It was very heartwarming and nice compared to the bullshit we're about to get into. And so, they wish Benjamin off. He tells, Chief Woodn'head a cornet, and, he says goodbye. And then the chief like nods. And that's when I was like, bitch, see, as a kid, I was like, I don't fuck around. Like one thing about me, you ain't supposed to be moving, bitch. He nodding his head and shit, sir. And so he notices it, but keeps on going because he's indigenous. They don't fear shit. And so, except the white man. And so, they drive.
He scared him now.
And so, he drives off, and they go back in, and they're just, happy. It's getting dark. They roll up. It's bitches up in their shop. And when I say it's bitches, it's some fucking slutty ass, tramp ass, dog ass whores. First, you get
White Moon.
Why can I not say White Moon? Sam White Moon up in there with a bust down middle part, looking like a fucking skank. He over.
First off, that was definitely a lace front.
Oh, it
The wigs
was.
looked that good back then. That was a white man.
He
He
is
was not
not
Indian.
white. He he is
The guy
not
that
white.
played the character.
I looked him up. His name's Holt. I just thought he doesn't look like he looks native.
Mm-hmm.
I hate you. And so, because he was on Law and Order. But anyway, so yeah, he over there, giving his shotgun a hand job, and so, and then he's in there with Rich Boy and Fatso. So,
Andy and Fat Stuff.
oh shit, I thought it. Okay. Andy and Fat Stuff. He called him Rich Boy. He calls him Rich Boy a lot. He has
Mm-hmm.
nicknames for his slaves. And
Right.
so they're in
Right.
there fucking up the shop. And they're being so kind about them in there. Like, I'd be like, bitch, get the fuck out. And he just, well, I mean, he has a shotgun, I guess. And so he's like, what are y'all doing? And so he's like, take anything you want, boys. So basically they start robbing the joint. In the meantime, and so, and they're being just very vulgar, rude, and nasty. Like, he's like, shut up or I'll put something in your mouth and make you quiet. And then the fat one's like, I'll put my wiener in his mouth. He's big. No, it's not. And so just fucking.
I never understand people like that. Like, how do you become such a nuisance?
Like, it's literally like, and the fact is, they're robbing the goddamn shop. They ain't been visited in 4 days. They only got $4 in the register. He got a few dollars in his pocket. Like, bitch, go rob real civilization. I bet you won't go over there. They don't be going over there to Beverly Hills with that bullshit. And so,
no, because they're in Oklahoma.
No, the drama club is doing Oklahoma. And so,
like, why don't they rob Andy's family? Andy's family's rich. Just go steal their shit. Just take the dad's credit card and book it to LA. Literally. So they want to go to Hollywood. They basically, their goal is to go to Hollywood.
This fucking dream.
Well, hold on. He tells Martha to go in the back. He said, I saw your pocketbook back there. Go on and get that for me.
Why didn't you just take the again? It's like
why didn't Martha just leave? Like, go and try to get some help.
It seems like torture porn at this point, because my thing is, okay, you want to rob them. They weren't in there before y'all got back in. Like, they weren't in the shop. Y'all were in the shop already. You saw her purse coming in. I would just steal her wallet, grab the register, like, and get out. Like, the fact, it just seems like they were trying to torture and kill these people, because there was no reason to, like, you can like rob people and not harm them. Like, just take their shit and go. But anyway, so she goes and gets the purse. And Sam is like, hey, does the fucking photo machine?
Does the photo booth work?
Does the photo booth work? So he go up in here and has the best monologue I've ever seen in a movie before. And he's taking like pictures of himself, and he's like, when I get to Hollywood, they're going to be like, Sam, get over here, sweetheart. There's 1,000 women just waiting on you to rub that hair between their legs. Like, I was like, sir, like, the fact that he just, like, oh my God, is that all it takes?
You have your other favorite line. What's that hair gonna do for him?
This hair is gonna get me paid and laid. I'm not just fucking around here. Like, he was so serious.
If like, nobody had long hair back in the day. Nobody had long hair.
That's why I'm like, sir, are you serious? Like, you're not. Long hair was like in back then. And so,
and he's not cute, y'all.
It was so funny because he's so vain. Like, if you go read the villain wiki on him, they demolish him. They're just like, he's so vain and he just thinks he's better than everyone else. And so he like makes the, like, when she comes back in, he's like, over here, lady. And he like he comes and he makes Martha look at the pictures, and then I don't know what comic book he's talking about, because I feel like he's talking about Samson, when he's like, you remember that guy with the long hair, and then this bitch cuts his hair off and he loses his powers. And I'm like, isn't he talking about Samson? Is that Samson and Delilah? Am I tripping? I hate you. I expected you to know, but I don't know.
He's just I'll look it up.
He's like all up in his shit. And so in the midst of, him like talking to the lady, it seems like they're about to get out of here and they're about to just, I don't know, because it was weird. It was odd. And then the guy is like moving, and so he grabs the guy and then
You're right. You're right.
Okay,
Samson and Delilah. Good job.
And so he grabs Martha and holds her at shotgun point, and then he's like, and one more step.
He grabs Martha and holds the shotgun to her fucking side.
I said at shotgun point.
But I mean, who holds a shotgun to somebody's side? Like, you know how they put a gun up to your head?
Yeah.
That's how he did to her hip.
Yeah. I don't I don't I don't understand him. He has on a jean jacket with no shirt on. And so and
It's
one more step
hot
and
and cold.
blam. And so,
There's a loud noise, and you know what happens.
yeah. Basically, Sam realizes that his uncle dropped off the jewelry and he's trying to rob him. He says it's worth $10,000. According to Tiffany, it's worth more than that. And so in the midst of fat stuff trying to like take the jewels from him, they're struggling. And I couldn't tell if he shot her by accident or shot her on purpose because he looked shocked.
He shot her by accident. Because
Okay,
it was a loud, fat stuff made a loud noise, and he jumped and he shot her. So he shoots Martha, and Martha falls.
Did you see how the blood just was?
So
I was like,
slow. She's like,
baby. She said, "I'm about to get this Oscar." She said, "I'm about to get this guy." Like it was so dramatic, but it was so sad too. And then, fuck you. and then, I'm sorry I didn't let you die fully. And then Ray, naturally he's trying to go over to his wife, and like Sam just fucking shoots him, and I'm like,
he had no choice at this point because there's witnesses to the murder. So
yeah, and
so he shoots Sam, and Sam falls on a pile of mulch or something like that.
And they take, and so fat stuff he throws up. They take the jewels. They're about to go get, and they're like, we're going to Hollywood. They run out, and he has to give his speech. He's like, all right, y'all, no more fucking reservation, no more fucking eating sand and tar and dust, and no more fucking wimpy Indian men. No, I'm sorry, he calls them red men. That's how I knew he had to, clearly he had to be white. I was like, red man, get the fuck out of here, Peter Pan. What makes the red man red? And so, and then he like shoots like at Chief Woodn'head. I don't know if he shot him or if he just shot like the stuff around him and like the paint and everything fell. And then
I thought he was shooting in the store.
Yeah, and then
he's a terrible shot. Put it that way.
Terrible shot, but he managed to kill them. Terrible shot, and then for him to hate Indian people, he does a fucking howl, and I'm like,
how you hate your own people?
Like,
please tell me why. Is it because black women are angry? Is that what it is?
Oh my god! We have that in our community too. It's because black people are homophobic, so they have to go to white people who are not homophobic. And so you got to search gay Twitter because we're trending right now because of Gerard Carmichael's
he asked Tyler the Creator out or something like that.
Yeah, and they only date white men, and everybody's like, "Sir, what the fuck?" But anyway,
Tyler the Creator's gay.
He's bi, I think.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because he only. I hate you.
So is it white men and black women, or white women and white men?
I guess white women and white men.
Ugh, disgusting.
So yeah, but that was they were talking about the thing, and they were like, the excuse was that because black people are homophobic, black men have to date white men, and I was like, white people are homophobic. They're passing bills right now. I'm just
okay. If you're a black man, just move to Atlanta. You'll find another black man.
Fuck you for saying that. Don't do that ever. Do not go to Atlanta. And so,
Did you see? There's another video where they're fighting in front of bulldogs.
Yes, I just said. I scroll past them now because I'm just like, there has to be something in the water. Why the fuck are they always mad? Like, I have never seen shit like that before in my life. Mm-hmm. And so, like, y'all, okay, we just gonna shoot you in Texas. And so, but yeah, and so they drive off, and this is what the part that used to scare me as a child, which in retrospect it shouldn't have, because he's doing God's work. And so the Indian starts coming alive, and old Chief Woodn'head, he starts moving and shaking, and it's like very slow but dramatic. And he puts down his little axe, he takes the paint, and he puts on his war paint, and then he goes, ah! Nothing.
We had a little bit of it, so it's like,
oh god, yours sounded so manly. His sounded very scary and hollow.
Okay, that's enough. So old Chief Woodn'head is on revenge, but why didn't he? I wish he would have woke up while they were robbing the store. I think that would have made it so much more intense.
Possibly. And so he goes on his revenge killing spree. He's killed a hell of a lot of
He's
people to get this far. And
he's
so
Black Mamba at this point.
and so first his first victim is the trailer park. So so of course Fat Stuff lives in a trailer park. And so he's at home. He's supposed to be packing because it's supposed to be for Hollywood that night.
I'm
But I
gonna
guess
assume he doesn't have anything.
okay, because he's chilling watching Loco. What the fuck is that show? And so Loco. And so
Ricola.
he's eating, I don't know, some Hot Pockets. And so in the midst of it, he's shot with arrows. He's shot with one in his hand, one in his side, and then one eventually in his head, and it kills him.
He
And so
wastes
he's
no
just
time.
dead. Like no time. He didn't
Fat
even
Stuff didn't even get to see who killed him though. Like
yeah,
I want to see who kills me,
literally. It's just like, what the fuck is happening? You don't
so
even
I
get
know
to
who to
scream.
haunt.
And so then we're at Rich Boy. We're at his house, and he
has his bags. He
yeah,
has
he has his bags, and he's sneaking off as his family watches TV in the fucking hallway. I'm like, they don't hear shit. It just, God, I can't wait to get sushi after this. And so, so random, but I just.
He hears noises coming from the garage, so he goes up to the garage, and once again, Ryu was in there and fucked his car up. Like, what is going on? What is up with the beat down cars in the movies that we watch?
His car is fucked up, and he has a Firebird, y'all. A fucking Firebird that's gonna fly us all the way out of here. The lines in this movie were so good. and so he like walks up like, who fucked up my shit? And so the door closes behind him, and all you see is a shadow, and you see old Chief Woodn'head walk up slowly as fuck, with his little tomahawk, and you just see blood splatter, and then he just puts his body on his car and then closes the garage door. He's so petty, like.
And then they went back to the parents, and the parents moved. When I first started watching, I was like, oh, he already killed the parents, because why weren't they doing anything? But the parents were still alive watching, I don't know, Wheel of Fortune.
He's a just villain. He's very just. He's not going to kill anybody who didn't have anything to do with it. And so this is when we get fine ass Sam.
Sam's watching TV.
I don't know why. No, why did you just no? He's
I don't
not
think he's
attracted
fine.
to you. Indigenous men are so fine to me. Like, they're so beautiful.
Just not that one.
Maybe okay, asshole. And so I love the way he says sweetheart. He's like, look at this, sweetheart. There's no way this kid can miss. And then he has to flip his hair like this. That's how you know it wasn't his real hair, because like, I don't. And so, and he's all dressed up, ready to go. And that's when he just looks at the mirror. And I was like, what the fuck is he looking at? And he hears a noise, and then like he grabs his shotgun and then moves, and then something like, I don't know what was thrown at the mirror, maybe another tomahawk. And then the chief is just like standing in his doorway. He's like, what the hell? You're not alive. There's no way you're alive. And so he shoots him twice. But I mean, he's made out of wood. Like, sir, you ain't stopping. Like,
I immediately thought about the fight between Beatrix Kiddo and what was her name? L Driver.
L Driver. And
because they were in a trailer. A raggedy rickety trailer too.
And so he like runs into the bathroom, and I guess he's like planning on like, this was stupid to me.
No, he was gonna jump out the window in the bathroom.
Yeah, but he like, when he ran in, he was just like, come on, like, because he was like pointing the gun at the door, like he was gonna come to the door and he was gonna shoot him. So this part confuses me, because the window, he breaks the window trying to get out the window, but the window was already rolled up.
I don't recall.
I hate you. And
well, maybe he needed the whole window, because it was like one of those windows where it pulls up and then the top part still has glass on it, so he needed the entire window to jump out.
You didn't have to break it. You could have just pulled it. Anyway, and so in the midst of doing that, old Chief Woodn'head punches through the wall of the trailer and then pulls his hair. And so he pulls his hair out and he grabs his knife and scalp. That was so good. Like, the way his scream kept echoing like for way too long. I was like, oh my God. And so Ben wakes up in his bed, in his old man pajamas, and he sees the jewels.
In his little twin bed.
Yeah, and he sees the jewels next to him. And so he roll up to the crib like, Ray, what the fuck going on? And so that's when he sees old Chief Woodn'head. He's there, and he has Sam's hair and his bloody scalp, and it's just like his war paint's fresh. And so he's just like, I hope your soul can rest now, goddamn. and then it ends. A coordinate Chief Woodn'head. Only issue with this is, are y'all not gonna go in there and get the bodies? Nobody gonna call the police? Like, their bodies are literally just in there.
My issue, I think that the action and the dialogue in the beginning should have been flipped. It was too much talking in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and then Chief Woodenhead was over in like 8 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that should have been flipped. But yeah. But overall, I did enjoy that one.
Yeah,
So
that was
let's go to
cute.
one that I did not enjoy.
Oh, really? We're gonna go head on to the Raft, you guys. So, like, we're totally gonna like do this like how it needs to be done. So it's like 4 fucking friends, and they're like
Yeah.
on their way to
Uh-huh.
like they're like going to like a lake. Why? Because they're high. And so they're just like ready to drive there. And so we get introduced to D, we get introduced to Randy, aka Poncho. Why? I don't know. And then we get Laverne and Rachel. And so they're just
Mm-hmm.
all like friends and they're like hot for each other and they're just gonna go out for a quick little swim. And so yeah, they get to like the lake and like they just leave the car on so they can hear the music and they see they want to go to because there's a raft. Okay, you're gonna have to explain this to me, Tiffany, because why do white people like this kind of shit?
Um, they like to swim and
It's
be one with nature. I don't know. Why do people climb Mount Everest? I don't know.
so they can be one of the dead bodies that are along the tree.
So unfortunate. It's terrible. They need to shut that down.
Mm-hmm.
So they get out to the lake and the boys swim over to the raft and the one girl swimming, she gets there and the other girl is doggy paddling. I don't know what she doing. She's like me when I go swimming and I'm on a kickboard and I just my legs be going like this and I go nowhere. I don't know what it is. But I try.
And like on their way to the raft, Randy actually sees like a little swan, and the swan looks like it's drowning. And it gets like eaten up by like this thing in the water, but he doesn't really like pay it too much mind. I don't know what he thought was happening, but that would have told me to take my motherfucking ass home. And so like yeah, so that's like and so like Rachel's like the last one up. And like she's trying to get up, but she can't. And so Randy sees the little oil slick like coming towards them, like he's freaked out. And so he's like, Rachel, get up. And he like pulls her very hard and she hits her leg and everything. And so, like, yeah. But eventually he gets her up right in the nick of time before the oil slick gets to her. And so he's like all freaked out. And everybody's like, what's wrong with you, Poncho? Like, what's wrong with you? You hurt her. And so,
Totally. So
yeah, tubular.
it looks like a trash bag. But then when they get up close to it, it kind of looks like brain matter.
It's like
Like it looks
layered and it's like green almost. Like I don't know. It looked like a maybe like a very like a maybe like a maybe like a wax shower curtain. You know what I mean? Like
a wax shower curtain? What the fuck is that?
I don't know, dude, but it was killing me, yo. Um
Yeah, so they get her on there and so they're just chilling. They had a good they got out there. Rachel's dumb ass leans
Smoky.
over the raft to try. She's like, "Ew, what's this? This is probably totally cool." She reaches over it and puts her hand in the blob. I'm just gonna call it blob at this point. She puts her hand in the blob, and that thing says, "All right, Mama," pulls her ass immediately into the water, and Randy's like, "What just happened?
And then she's
What just
like,
happened?"
she comes up from it and she's like, it hurts. And I was like, so it's like acid or something? Like it's like I don't know, dude. Like
I don't know,
it's
but
so
Randy
weird.
tries to jump in, and Deke is like, "Get your ass back over here! What the hell are you gonna do?
And this
Stupid!"
is when things kind of take a turn. This is when it becomes a sort of like I gotta step away from this white shit because then like Laverne is rightfully so freaking out, like her friend is like dying, and like that's when like D is like, I'm gonna slug you, and I'm like, we're beating women. Like, how do we jump from?
Like, calm down, I'm gonna slug you. Like,
I just
what happened to just shaking her and telling her, breathe, breathe, we're gonna get out of here. And then
no.
they remember that it's off season, so nobody's coming to that lake anytime soon.
That's another thing I didn't understand because even before they got in the water, they were like, remember he jumps in the water and Poncho's like, "Hey, be careful! It's 54 degrees, you'll die." And he's like, "I'm pretty mad. I know this stuff." No, you're not.
How did he know how cold it was? I didn't see a thermometer in his pocket. Is that a
And so
thermometer in your pocket, or are you happy to see
that so if you recall, I don't even know what episode we did, but you were talking about like baby penises, basically. And so I don't know I don't know why we were even talking about it. And so not that one. Not that one. No, not that one. But you were just talking about how they exist. And I was like, no, impossible. Yeah.
not
Yeah, not that.
crew.
No.
Small, very
Small
small on
penises.
grown men.
On grown men. On grown
Yeah.
men. Hold on. In an episode, I don't remember why we were talking about it, but you were talking about how grown men have baby penises, and I did not
Oh
believe you.
God.
And I don't. It was so relevant at the time, but I didn't believe you, and you talked about inexperience when you saw one, and you just felt bad. So recently, not me, but a friend of mine encountered one, and oh my God,
Same description, right?
yeah, she was like when she showed me how, I was like, there's no way a grown man, smaller, no, smaller, about there. And I was like, there's no, that's ridiculous. But I give it more. Okay, about there. I was like, there's no way a grown ass man. And then the way that this guy acts, oh my God, like cocky, arrogant, like I'm that dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like even during, she was just like, yeah, he just was like, and I was like, really? Like
During? Okay.
and yeah, so but yeah, she was just like, oh my God,
You know,
like
they have surgeries to elongate the penis. Those people should, if they want, should look into it because I
maybe
mean
it's
they
satisfied, like women with like a small, I don't
clitoris.
know, but I just was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I don't know what you say to that, because it's like, because I always say, but this is maybe like a man speaking, I'm like, why don't you tell them so they don't, at least they know, and they don't have that arrogance about it to where they're going up to women and they're like gonna get embarrassed one day. And she's just like, oh no, I'm not gonna be the one to
No, because those are the type of people that will end up hurting a woman.
okay, that's why I say I'm speaking
So
as a man.
your friend did the right thing by.
I
I mean, I would
Oh
have
my
made it. I
God.
would have said I had a headache. I would have farted, something. I would have stuck my finger down my throat and vomited on his bed. Anything to get me up out of there.
I did
But
not
I
know that was a
totally
real
understand.
thing. So yeah, that the thermometer comment reminded me of that. But oh my God, I'm so sorry, women.
Yep.
But yeah,
So back to
so
the story. Deke decides to make a run for it, to swim to shore. But as he's getting ready to do it, the raft said, "Bitch, you ain't doing it."
it
The
comes
raft,
underneath them
the
and it
blob
goes,
comes up through the raft through the cracks,
yeah, and he gets his leg.
and it pulls it folds Deke like the guy in Freddy versus Jason's bed,
Oh, yep,
where his leg
yep.
was up here like the pussycat doll girl when she pulls her leg up like up here,
Mm,
cracked him in half and pulled Deke under the water. And now
all that,
Laverne is really freaking out.
yeah, all that's left is his class ring, and so she jumps on Randy, and that's just still just pisses me off because like, girl, come on now. I understand you're scared, but like it's coming through the cracks, and you. So yeah, she jumps on him, and he's like, "Get off me, Laverne! I'm gonna drop you." I'm like,
I would at
y'all
that
don't
point I
care.
would have threw Laverne in it and hit it.
And so, it was
And you know
like
when he was holding her, if you looked over like straight across from where they were, there was another
I
area
saw
to
that
get
too.
out of the
No, I
water
saw that
that
too. It
was
was
so much closer.
yes, I saw that too. I was like, because it makes sense because there's both sides of the lake, but of course
Right.
they're dumb. They didn't think about that. But oh my God, like it was scary. And so I mean, he eats him, and so it gets from under the raft, and so that he puts Laverne down, and like he's like, just stand on these parts, and so it's just like over the like close by, just sitting there, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's when he's like, they're getting cold, and he's like, we need to take turns sleeping, blah blah blah. She's pissing me off throughout this entire moment because she's just not being helpful. Like he's like, and she's like, I'm cold, I can't watch it. Like, girl, you need to like, I mean, you got to own it in these kind of situations. Like, I understand you're scared, but yes, we do need to take turns sleeping because like what else
Mm-hmm.
is the option? And so they warm up with each other, mind you. They don't even take each other's advice because they both go to sleep and then they wake up. And so this is when, again, these keep taking a turn for me. So Poncho wakes up, Laverne is still sleeping, and so he takes this moment to not think of a way to get to safety, but he decides to sexually assault her. And so he starts kissing on her, rubbing on her. He puts her down on the raft, like, oh, he puts her down on the raft, and then he starts like kissing her breast and like just fucking weird shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And so in the midst of him doing this, she like starts moaning and waking up. So so that's when he realizes that because he put her face on the fucking raft, the creature came and like got her side of her face. So she didn't, like, she's dying, doesn't even realize it. So that's when she's like, Randy, and it's like it has her engulfed. Like she stood no chance. And so while she's getting eaten, that's when he jumps in the water and swims. And he's swimming so fucking slow. Like he slowly swims to shore. The thing is following him very fast. And he gets barely ashore. He gets like on like the precipice of the sand. And he's like, I beat you. I beat you. The blob is like, bitch, no, you didn't. And it jumps up and swallows him.
It
And
turns into a fucking tsunami wave.
Literally,
and eats him up. And then we pan out and there's a sign that says no swimming.
And also it burps. Did you hear it burp?
I didn't hear that.
I've never heard it burp. It burped. And so yeah, that ends the raft.
Because of that, no lie, because of that, I will not swim in a lake. I won't swim anywhere where I can't see the bottom.
Damn. You go I call bullshit. Cause you go to extravagant. Okay, y'all. Tiffany's a traveler, like travel extraordinaire, passport stamped. So she goes to exotic locations all the fucking time. I refuse to believe she don't be on the beaches. I refuse to.
I go to beaches that are crystal clear. I get in the beach, but I go up to my waist, and then I'm out of there. And if I see a fish, I'm out of there. I don't even fuck with fish. So no, I'll swim in a pool all day long or at a water park or something, but no, I'm not getting into a lake with that dirty ass water. I'm not doing it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So now we have come to the last episode.
It's never a right time to say goodbye, but we know that we gotta go our separate ways. We get to my favorite little Tum Tum Timmy. We get to a little, what does he say? Slicker. The Hitchhiker. And so
Annie wakes up. We have Annie in a bed. She wakes up and she gets out of the bed and you see a man sleeping. You're like, oh, this is her boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. So she's throwing her clothes on and they chat about how alarm clocks are the devil and they never wake you up when they're supposed to, and about the 6 orgasms that he gave her that night.
He only counted 6. Like, she probably had more.
Talk about a busy night.
Is that not common?
I don't know. I'm not. I've had friends tell me, a couple times, but not 6. I've never heard 6. I've heard like 2.
Because when men, we just have the 1, and we have like proof
not
of
necessarily.
ours.
Some can jump back up.
Yeah.
But I guess they only did a little bit.
Yeah.
She jumps in her car and then she has this inner dialogue. She talks to herself this entire segment. And what she's saying is she's talking to herself about how she only has 15 minutes to get home before her attorney husband, George, arrives. And, because he can't find out that she's paying a gigolo for sex.
Literally. So she's sleeping with an escort that she stays the night over. I'm like, I guess maybe it's a natural part of sex to go to sleep afterwards, but why?
Maybe she was just like, I don't think she stayed over. It was still like, it was before midnight. So I think she just passed out. 6 orgasms?
But I can't relate. Don't have that. I don't.
Yeah, so she's trying to think of an excuse to tell him. She's like, oh, I could say that I was out with the girls. Oh no, he wouldn't believe that. So she's doing this over and over with herself.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny now.
It is pretty funny. Because we're adults now. We know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
So she pulls out a cigarette and starts to try to light it, and she starts smoking it. And one of the cigar ashes, I remember one time I dropped a cigar ash on Anton's rug, and he you messed me up. I couldn't even get it
out.
Finish it. One time I dropped a cigar ash on Anton's rug, and he made me pick it up with my anus.
Like the iconic shit that we have been given. Oh my God. Because what the fuck?
Go watch Deuce Bigalow if you don't know that line.
Woo! Oh my God.
With my anus.
Like, and now I have questions. Because.
How?
Sir,
because your anus isn't on the outside of the booty. You
So
gotta.
you have to open it, and then you got to
He
do a
had to.
split,
He had to pucker her up.
and then to grab Have you ever tried to grab a cigarette ash? Like Jesus,
So,
it dissolves. So
yes,
how did you pick it up?
it turns into smoot. So she dropped the ash and she starts wailing in the car, but does not put her foot on the brake. She's still
Not
driving
once,
150 miles per hour around
not
the curve.
once. And you swerving like she hitting cones. She like busting up the car on the side of the rail. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bitch? This pissed me off.
And it looks like she's going through the mountains in California. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of curves, and so she, so she's driving, and then bam, she hit somebody. Oh my god, we hit a boot. So she hit somebody, and and
Where's
she
the
stopped.
foot?
She finally stopped, and she's looking in the rearview mirror, and she's looking forward, and she's looking in the rearview mirror, she's looking forward. She's like, "Oh my god, what do I do?" And then she sees lights coming from another car, and she speeds off. She turns on some classical music and speeds off.
And
And
she
the
cuts
guy
off her
that was,
lights too, which is kind of smart if
oh
you got to
yeah,
get a
so
hidden
nobody
one.
can see her.
Yeah.
So the person that was driving the car, um, that scared me. So the person that was driving the car,
Not Creepshow 4.
right? He gets out and he sees that somebody is dead, and then we see a truck driver pull up, and they both looking at the dead body, and
Looks like a black guy, isn't it? So I hate you,
hold
Stephen
on,
King.
they're looking at that, and then the Stephen King is the truck driver. He does say it looks like a black body. He lights up some flares. And the businessman in the car that pulled over starts to call the police, and then another white couple pull up, and they're looking at the body. None of the four of them show any emotion. They're like, "Oh, he's black. We don't give a shit." No emotion, and they're just looking at him like he's a fucking spectacle. What is this? Get out? Not get out. Nope.
It was very interesting. I mean, he does call the police with his car phone and try to like. I mean, that's like the businessman is like the most compassionate one. Everyone else is just looking. I'm just like, God, this is so dated. Cause like, what? Nobody tries to go check his pulse, give him CPR. Nothing. It's just like he got creamed. That's literally what they say. And so damn it, I forgot her name that quickly. Annie. She's she's just like still talking to herself. She's like trying to wipe the blood off with the windshield wipers, which I'm like, girl, there's more of him on the car than that, but okay. And she's just like, okay, think to yourself, can you live with this? And I'm just like, and so she's just driving.
And she says it's gonna be. Oh no, she didn't say that. That's not it. I'm sorry.
She's about to say it soon. Don't worry about it. I know what you're talking about, but she's about to say it soon. And so then she stops at a light, I believe.
It's like an intersection.
And she sees from the rearview mirror the hitchhiker, and he has on like a fucking Curious George ass.
He has on a yellow rain slicker. Stop it.
Who had that on? It was a monkey who had that on.
No, it was the guy that owned him.
Oh, the man in the yellow coat. Okay. And so and he's rolling up and he has the sign, and she's like, she double takes, she's like, what the fuck? And so that's when she doesn't see him anymore. Baby. Baby. She turns to her left, and all of a sudden you see, hey lady, thanks for the ride. And it's the guy, and he's just all battered and bruised and bloody, and she screams and hauls ass.
Yes. But she drives for like 80 seconds, and then she stops again.
And she's just like, okay. And she just keeps talking to herself like, okay, Mrs. Lang. What was her last name? Mrs. Damn it, because that's what she kept saying. Mrs. Lang. It's a horse with an L. Langston or Langley or something like that. And she's just like, okay, all right. And she just keeps talking about the expenses of all the shit that she's gonna, like, the therapy expenses. Lansing. And so that's when, why she had her sunroof open, I don't know. But the hitchhiker's hand reaches down, and she's like, hey lady, thanks for the ride, lady. And he just keeps saying that over and over throughout the whole part of this segment. He's just like, thanks for the ride, lady. And so he's like reaching in, touching her hair. So she like tries to close it. And then he starts bleeding in her hair.
Yeah, he starts bleeding in her hair.
It gets very gross after a while.
I was just trying to figure out why she didn't speed up and then slam on the brakes so he could fly off. No, this bitch decides to drive through the woods.
how she got to the it's California, there are mountains. But so
Oh,
yeah,
actually, it's Dover, so they're in Maine.
and
But
so
there should be mountains. I'm sure there's mountains in Maine.
and so she drive on. She she drives off into the wilderness and everything, and she stops again. Of course, she has her doors unlocked. He opens the door. He's like, "Hey,
He
lady,
opens the passenger door.
literally, thanks for the ride." And so she gets her gun. She puts bullets in her little revolver and shoots him 5 fucking times. And he's just like just getting bloodier and bloodier and so she kicks him out. She closes the door and then she runs him over twice and then she just drives off. And then she's like, "Oh, Mrs. Langston, how much is it gonna take to fix it?"
$3,000, maybe $4,000.
And you'll walk off the lot like it's brand new. Like, she is literally insane.
Her inner monologue is ridiculous.
Terrible. And so that's when she's driving off. She's trying to get through, like, back to the road. And so he comes up from the hood at this point. "Thanks for the ride, lady."
She does get back to the road, and then he comes up through the hood. You mean under the car?
Yeah, that's what I'm like, on the hood. Like, he comes from under the car on the hood. And
yeah.
he's "Thanks for the ride, lady." And then he actually takes out a sign that says, "You murdered me." And she's like, "Who is he? What the hell is he? Where is he coming from?" And so that's when she decides to drive. She speeds into the woods and
yet again,
and then slams him into a tree. And so she does the thing. She backs up, pulls him forward, backs up, forward. And so she just keeps slamming until she actually like hurts herself and gets like a concussion and falls over. The car is smoking at this point. How she didn't die from carbon monoxide poisoning, I don't know. But don't worry, we have time. Huh?
How the car started back up?
That part. Because I mean, shit, our cars now can't run over a pothole and start up. So yeah, and so she wakes up and she's like, "It was a dream. It was all a dream."
Yeah, she thinks she just ran into the tree and passed out. I probably would too after all that shit that happened.
Yeah, I would check the car for the blood, but whatever. And so, but she like revs up the car and she going slowly, still starting her monologue like, "Oh," and she's trying to explain to her husband how she's definitely late at this point because she had 15 minutes to get there, baby. You definitely late now. But she's making it back. She makes it home and she gets there before him and she's like so surprised. She's like, "Oh, Mrs. Langston, you made it." And then, girl, she opens the car door and who's under the car? Baby, "Thanks for the ride, lady. Thanks for the ride."
This time he's like basically nothing. He's just like red and bones, and one
his
eyeball.
Tongue hanging out. His eyes are like on his nose. And so she closes the car door, but I guess she doesn't roll up the window because he comes and he's like,
it sounds disgusting.
Yeah, and so her husband arrives moments later, and we figure out that her husband was actually the businessman who called the police, like a good citizen, to help get the guy out. And so he's like, "Annie," and so the garage door was closed while all this was happening. The car was still running, so she ended up dying from carbon monoxide poisoning. And she's just like dead. And then you see Dover, the Dover sign is on her, and the film concludes. If you want to talk about the wraparound story, it's actually about a little Billy, a little boy who likes the Creepshow cartoons, and he orders Venus flytraps from the comic book. He has some bullies who want his ass, and they end up bullying him and like trying to crush the seeds, but they still end up hatching and they eat the bullies and Billy's okay. So yeah, but it's interesting, but I don't understand how it's an hour long. Like, maybe I just don't understand run times, but this shit went by so fast. I was like, this is not an hour, but it was.
So I have a nice funny story to tell everybody. I need you to step away from the mic because don't ruin my story because it's a good one. So back in, I don't know, 99, 2000, me, Pierre, and his stepsister at the time, and somebody else we went to.
Stepsister at the time.
We went to the fair.
Ooh,
I remember this. So while we're at the fair, this fool is on the tilt-a-whirl and it's spinning around, and every time he comes by us, he's like, "Thanks for the ride, lady," and it's spinning. "Thanks for the ride, lady." "Thanks for the ride, lady."
I remember this. I don't remember that shit. No.
God,
I do not remember doing that.
Every time the tilt-a-whirl spinned around and you saw us, "Thanks for the ride, lady."
What a creative fucking kid. I did not like, there's no way. Something was.
It might not have been the tilt-a-whirl. It might have been the one where you sit in it and it just goes around in a circle, but it's like got a lot of force with it. I can't think of the name of
I
it.
do not remember that. I can't
You
even like.
thanks for the ride, lady us at least 10 times.
They
We were
loved it
like,
though.
what the fuck is wrong?
Because literally, what the fuck?
And I still say that, like, if I get a ride from anybody, I'm like, thanks for the
I
ride,
hate
lady.
you so much. It's very
Stuck with
iconic.
me.
I
Yeah.
Oh my god, I don't remember that. God, we have known each other way fucking too long. Like this.
Yeah, I promise you did it. Thanks for the ride, lady. Thanks for the
I
ride,
believe
lady.
you. I just can't understand why I would have been doing that. Like,
Because I think maybe we had just watched Creepshow too,
for
and
the
then we
for
went to
the
the fair.
record, you guys, I was like 7, 8. Like,
No, because yeah, you were either 8, 9, or 10. No,
okay.
no more than that. Yeah. Thanks for the ride, lady.
Jeez.
So that concludes Creepshow 2. I actually liked every segment
Yeah.
here. My favorite one, I mean, I liked all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I probably put the Raft at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
and the Hitchhiker and Old Chief Woodn'head are neck and neck.
Yeah.
Gave us some great quotes. So for this one, I would give it. It's still not the best. I give it like a 6.5 out of 10, and they only get the half because there's a black guy. Even though they treat him like shit, it's still and it
Mm-hmm.
was all right. It's all right. It's still funny.
I'll give it a 7 for the indigenous representation because at least they. Well, I mean, I guess they kind of. Well, they didn't have to because they could have just casted a bunch of white people. But so yeah, I'll give it a 7. Specifically because I can understand why it's creepy. I can like it's a very big moment in pop culture. Like I relate to this one more so than the first one. Like I will always come to this one because it's just.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say you need to watch it, and there are very good quotes. Like they just say some outrageous shit. So yeah, I'll give it a
Be
7.
going to Disney World on your fucking welfare check.
Like, get over here, sweetheart. Like that is. I'm gonna say it to my baby. Get over here, sweetheart. So yeah.
So I was just sitting and I just kept thinking about, I'm not gonna do the voice, but where did you hide it, Dan? And I was just cracking up at myself. I think that was the funniest thing
It
ever.
was. It was. I'm mad you like almost forgot it when our last one because it was iconic at that point.
Yes, amazing. So that will do it for Creepshow 1 and 2. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Please be sure to do all the things that I tell you to do at the beginning of the podcast, such as follow
Follow
us and
our
all that good stuff.
Instagram.
Come
Follow our
on,
Instagram. It took me a very long time to do that and make that Instagram. Please follow the Instagram.
get
And then
over
also
here.
Creepshow does have a series and they have Creepshow 3. I
It's
think they even
actually
have a
pretty good.
4. Yeah, so
Creepshow 3, but
oh,
the,
okay.
the TV series is actually pretty good. I would
Yeah, go
recommend
check
it.
out Creepshow. It's pretty interesting, especially if you like Stephen King, go give him a holler.
Mhm.
But yeah, support the podcast. We love you guys. We want more guest hosts. Currently Jay holds the award. So yeah, for putting up with us.
He's number 1, and then number 2 is my background noises, whatever's going on in here.
Yeah, Nola.
Yeah, the ghost behind my door. So, yeah, join us next week when we review. So I don't know what we're gonna do next week. It's gonna be a surprise, but it will be an anthology. Please be sure to check us out, and we will see you then.
Bye.
Where did you hide it, Dan?